Welcome everyone. You are hopping in on what I would call a mid-journey. I am currently in southern Arizona, heading my way east to New Mexico. And I'm going to photograph White Sands National Park. As for the images I've done for the last few days, I have been primarily focusing on saguaros. You'll see an image right about now or so in the video. The journey of this trip is the deserts of the American Southwest. Where I live right on the convergence zone of the Great Basin and the Mojave Desert. And then this trip has taken me down through the Sonoran Desert and the Mojave, but primarily we've been in Sonoran. But now I'm working my way over towards the Chihuahua Desert, which I've never been to before. And this is going to be a full opportunity to see all three or all four deserts in a single opportunity, a single trip, to see how the ecosystems of the region change from place to place to place. As you start in the Great Basin where I live, the predominant vegetation systems there are sagebrush. Then as you work your way into the Mojave, it transitions from a sagebrush to a creosote flats with intermittent scattering of like Joshua trees. And then as you go farther south, the Joshua trees disappear and the saguaros take over. And the saguaros seem to control much of the central and western side of Arizona, but as I've moved farther east now, the saguaros have petered out and I'm left with whatever these scraggly trees are. And so now I'm transitioning out of Sonoran Desert into kind of a in-between land, and then I'm going to hit the Chihuahuan Desert, which is sandwiched between a mountain ranges, or a couple of mountain ranges. So I'm excited to see how the ecosystem changes over there. I'm excited to photograph that and be able to kind of document this 4 desert ecosystem excursion that I'm on. It should be good. Okay, so I'm about an hour out from White Sands, and wind is right now projected to be up to 30 and 40 miles an hour. So I stopped into Las Cruces to pick up some goggles. Hopefully these will protect my eyes from getting turned into sandpaper, or my eyes to be sandpapered, and hopefully will work out. I'll look a little dorky, but it's better than being, blinded by sand, so we'll see how this goes. Off to the desert. Made it to White Sands. The wind is howling. It looks like I made the right decision to pick up a pair of goggles. You'll see it rocking here in just a second. Well, welcome to White Sands. We have 20 to 30 mile an hour winds, gusts of 40. So I am goggling up. We're gonna go see if I can do some afternoon shots, because this is just kind of a unique area. I don't know why I'm fogging up, but I'm fogging up. I can't see it on my right eye. So we're gonna go see if I can find a couple cool photos. Check you in a bit. I can't actually put the camera down anywhere, at least the tripod, the little guy here, the filming camera, because the wind's too strong. And unfortunately, my goggle system is fogging, so I can barely see out of my goggles. Maybe I need to spit inside of them. unmanageable, and the camera can't focus because the light between the dunes is so like soft that the camera struggles, and I'm trying to focus manually, and my eyes are getting blasted with 30-mile-an-hour winds, and it was so bright that I couldn't see the camera, which is not entirely new, but definitely something I wasn't expecting. But the conditions are just crazy harsh, and I do not have the right stuff to be out here in 40-mile-an-hour winds. So I'm gonna, I don't want to call it an evening, we'll see what I call it. But right now it's just unmanageable for me to photograph. It is too difficult and too windy. Oh, I'm just covered with sand now. Holy smokes. I'll probably be getting sand out of me for a freaking month. Oh. Maybe I'll go find a place to camp and figure out what time this park closes. We'll see. In the end, I actually ended up going out a few more times into the sand dunes after my camera recording of the evening stopped. Mostly because I wanted to give it another shot, but because the wind was so harsh, I wasn't able to use the small GoPro for recording. So this is the first image I got while I was out there. The mountains were blown out and couldn't be seen anymore due to the high winds. But I love the soft lines, and if you look close across the image, you can actually see the sand blowing throughout the image. The second image I got was this one right here. This image was taken a little bit later in the day as the sun was setting. The cooler tones were beginning to really move across the landscape, and what ended up were these soft bluish dunes where you could see the ripples across the edges. And then the light really played nicely along the curves, making these very elegant and very unique images of the dunes themselves. I was only able to get these two images simply because the conditions were just so hard for me to be able to go out and photograph in. There we go. Good morning, everyone. It is 5:42 in the morning right now. Daylight savings just happened. Car still says 4:42. I'm supposed to drive home today. I don't know if I'm gonna make it that far with this much sleep. I'm gonna rock a Carnation instant breakfast to kickstart my day. Get over to the monument. If I'm lucky, I can get in, but I don't think I am. I think because White Sands is a part of, or next to a military installation, they don't allow anybody into the monument or into the park. Well, let's get to it. Now we're at the sit and wait game. Come to find out, there is an active guard here at White Sands, and the gate very much is closed. I pulled up and he popped out in about 10 seconds. So if you are wondering, they very much do treat this like a military facility, and it is very well guarded. So okay, you missed the sunrise. Part of that was because there were a bunch of people around and I didn't want to film and chit chat and talk to you while I did that. But we're gonna head towards the back of the road here, and we're now going to do a little bit more creative work with the telephoto. So we're gonna pull out the telephoto, the 70-200, and then we're gonna go out to the sand dunes and we're gonna see what we can do. Okay, welcome to day 2 at White Sands. It is much better today. I am not fighting 40-mile-an-hour winds. I have a little bit of solitude while I'm at it, so I can do this. I actually did photograph at sunrise, but I chose a spot, and while I was there, like 9 other photographers showed up. So I decided not to film that. Oh yeah, this is like telephoto heaven right now. I have to get out here up on top of this dune and pull out the 70-200. It is so cool. Okay, almost to the top. What? Okay. I'm at the tallest sand dune in the area. Oh. And on the far side, it's not nearly as tall as it looks. But it is pretty. Time to get to work. This is a cool spot. I don't know if White Sands is the most mind-blowing national park I've ever been to. I've photographed white sand dunes before. These are just wider than I've ever photographed. But it's a good place to work on composition. It's a good place to play around with a variety of focal lengths and come away with a bunch of images that are, you know, white sandish. You know, when you see a white sand image, you know it's from White Sands. Which is kind of the reality of working out here. Okay guys, talk to you later. I've got a few more images to do, and then I got a long drive home. Maybe I'll be at Petrified Forest later today. That is just as much of an option as anything else. So I've got 11.5 hours drive to get home. And I'm thinking of stopping there. So if I see you again, I see you again. If not, peace out. Talk to you later.